Jim Graham. And hello, everybody. This is Jim Graham, and I'm really, really excited to share with you some great, great strategies today by Doug Crow. And let me tell you something. Very rarely am I so impressed when someone talks about something that is impressive to begin with, but then actually is able to prove it over and over, time and time again. And here's what it comes down to. I meet people in seminars all the time that talk about what they do and how they do it, and how great things are. We've all heard this, right? But when I met Doug a few months ago, he was telling me about some strategies that he uses in order to get people to become a best-selling Amazon author very, very quickly. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really interesting. Well, it sounds interesting is one thing, but what really got my attention is a couple of weeks ago, I was actually at a seminar, and I got to see Doug again. And it was a seminar for a gentleman who was a no-name author, first time, never written a book before. And in one weekend, just one weekend, Doug's strategies got this no-name author to be #1 bestseller on Amazon in just that weekend, and that just wowed me. It's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen this happen before, and I saw it happen before my eyes all weekend long. The gentleman went from number 31 to 26 to 24 to 17 to 12 to 6, and then all of a sudden #1, and it's actually #1 by the beginning of day number 2 of the seminar, of a 3-day seminar, which was unbelievable for me. I've never seen anything like it before. But it's like, wow, this guy really understands how to get the word out and how to get people to actually take action when it comes to someone's book, and especially someone that's never been an author before. So I talked to him some more, and I said, Doug, I tell you what, this is some good stuff, and I've never heard anything about you before doing this, but when you told me months ago that you did it, I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, and it did. Don't get me wrong, it sounds good. But now when I saw it for my own eyes, it's like, okay, we need to share this with people and let them know. And Doug, are you here? That's why you're here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I am, Jim. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
certainly am. Yeah,
Awesome. Okay, Doug. Listen, I don't want to hold people up. Go ahead and take it away because, guys, you're in for a treat. This is some really, really neat strategies that you're going to be able to take away right now and get started on how you can go through this journey and become a best-selling author, literally, in a weekend. So, Doug, take it away.
all right. Thanks so much, Jim. Matter of fact, the guy you mentioned, he gave me a quick video testimonial just yesterday, so I put it in this presentation. We'll hear from him in just a few minutes.
Oh, awesome.
So we're going to talk about publishing and selling your book, and without even writing it, if you choose. And I'm going to really teach you how best-selling authors who don't necessarily write can sell a ton of books, but more importantly, leverage their brand and get connected to major media channels. A brief introduction about me: I'm a respected integrator of content-based marketing by creating uniquely positioned and, of course, high-quality books, not just something you slap together. I'm the founder of the company called Author Your Brand, and I work with all types of people: physicians, professionals, entrepreneurs, who really understand the value of being a published author, but are also overwhelmed with the process. And my team's results speak for themselves. As of date, our team has clocked over 116 Amazon bestsellers. When I did this slide, now it's up to 145. One of my clients is a #2 Christian Book Award winner. One became a magazine contributor, and many of them have now brokered deals with Fortune 500 clients because they're an author. There's many, many more examples. These guys have worked now with Fujifilm, Aflac, LPGA. And for example, this guy, again, another person who just did his first book and it was a tough topic. In the category of business and money, became #1. This gentleman became best-selling author and actually beat out Cesar Millan on a dog book. Think about that. Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, and this guy comes on the scene and blasts right past him. Even myself, of course, I had my ACL surgery. My team, I put more emphasis on what they do than me, but I became a #1 bestseller in 3 separate categories, including, of all things, accounting, but advertising and entrepreneurship and small business were the ones I was really targeting. There's, of course, bad news with all this. I'm not going to be all hypey and positive. There's some bad news with this, and that is an Amazon bestseller, quite frankly, all by itself is totally worthless. Let that sink in. If you're just doing this for ego, it's totally worthless. Unless you do some things, which include strategically campaigning, not just launching, but campaigning your message, having follow-through sequences, building real goodwill with your readers, genuine goodwill, and networking with influencers. And what this all relates to is developing high-priced products and services that help you make, bank it. And this is what Lane did. This is our buddy Lane, who started out zero, just starting his first workshop, his first book. He had no consulting background to speak of, and it's just a quick minute and a half of him telling what happened to him. So we'll hear from Lane now.
Hey, it's Lane Etheridge here, the Lane Changer himself, baby. And I'm so excited to share with you about my buddy, Mr. Doug Crow. Boom, look at that behind me. You can see my book right there, Changing Lanes. Now, I don't show you that to impress you anything about me. I do that because this book hit #1 Amazon bestseller. And I attribute a lot of that to Doug Crow, man. I will tell you this. He reached out, servantly gave to me, and helped me become an Amazon bestseller. #1, passing guys like Tim Ferriss, The 4-Hour Workweek, passing Tony Robbins, Awaken the Giant Within, Never Eat Alone. I mean, books that we've all been reading so many times over and over again. And you can see, baby, #1 Amazon bestseller right there, Changing Lanes. Doug, I appreciate you. I appreciate you just coming and being such a servant leader in this industry. You are a champion among champions, my man. And if you're watching this video, if you want to get from point A to point B, wherever you are to wherever you want to go, as the crow flies, see what I did there? As the crow flies, Doug will take you there the fastest, baby. Go to the top with Doug. Surround yourself. Learn from him. If you have to invest with him to help him, allow him to help you, do it. I will tell you this, without that, I would not be a #1 Amazon bestseller. And here's the best part. In the category that we did was mentorship and business. Man, I'm telling you this, for my business, it has exploded because of that. Charging upwards of $25,000 now because I'm an Amazon #1 bestseller. So, Doug, I appreciate you and your team, everything that you guys do. It's worth it. Invest with this man. Let him take you to the top, and I hope to see you there along with me. So, Doug, keep doing what you're doing. You're a giver. You're a server, and I know that whoever partners with you will have so much success because it's not about you, as Zig Ziglar says. You servantly give to other people to help them get what they need, and therefore you're getting what you need, my friend. I appreciate you serving at my event. I look forward to doing more with you, and anything I can do for you and your people that are watching this, I'm here to give back to you because you are the man. Love you, baby. You're a lane changer. Boom.
So that's Lane. So yeah, he's a good friend now just because we helped him really launch his career. So during this presentation, I'm going to teach you some things. There's a lot of teaching going on. I love teaching and sharing. So if you have time to take some notes, please do. But we're going to learn how to create a book that's guaranteed to sell before it's written, which is crazy. We're going to learn how to craft, but not necessarily write your book. And we're going to do it in an intelligent way so it actually works within your business. And most importantly, I'm going to probably overwhelm you with what I'm going to share with you tonight, but I'm going to also share with you how you can reduce or actually eliminate that overwhelm of becoming a published author. And this is really a brand new way. You probably have not seen this type of system before. So it's important to you now because most self-publishing advice is, quite frankly, just dead wrong. All right, bestseller in a weekend. Jim hinted at that, but it really took several weeks and actually several months to build up to that point. But the actual push does happen in a pretty rapid period of time. But marketing, of course, is hard. Publishing, not much easier. Writing is impossible to do, so we always hire good writers for ourselves. And when we do get overwhelmed with this entire process, it always leads to inaction on most people's parts. Most people think about writing a book and never pull it off. The game of publishing has changed. If you don't change with it, you're going to be in a world of hurt. So the question you might ask yourself before you even spend any more time with us tonight is this going to be for you? Well, if you're an entrepreneur or a professional and want a quality book, this is definitely for you. If you're overwhelmed, want professionals to create it with you, you're going to enjoy this. And if you want to become the go-to person that the media calls, this is definitely for you. If you want to have a waiting list, like I've created, of hungry clients just getting in line to work with you, you're going to enjoy this. And if you want to be recognized in the media, you're going to really appreciate some of the nuances we talk about when it comes to PR and press releases. And the big one is, if we struggle, like most of us do in business, with acquiring qualified leads, and you want customers who are calling on you, ready to order from you, you are going to love this reverse engineering of a bestseller and becoming a published author. So quick house rules here. Number one, this is not for get-rich-quick folks. If you're looking for making $14,000 in 22 minutes online. Just log off now, because this is an actual process for real books, real people. It's not for fake experts. If you are going to puff or exaggerate claims, you will be sniffed out and dismissed by not only me, but by anybody who looks at you. So if you do not have the credentials yet, stick around, because I'm going to show you how to basically Oprahify your credentials and be a reporter instead of an expert if you're not an expert yet. Also, my results that I'm sharing with you are not remotely typical, because most people who buy anything, right, they buy a training, they buy a program, they never do anything with that training. It's called shelf help instead of self-help, because most people don't do anything in their life. They join the gym on January 2nd, quit by January 21st. So, quick confession, I have an advantage over most people. I have experience in this industry. I have a professional team and a network of influence. Stick around. I'll show you how you can tap into my network. So, my story, most people have the rags to riches story, and mine is the exact opposite. I actually have a riches to rags story for you. I have invested in real estate for about 20 years, and because of my experience there, I actually launched the world's first semester-based real estate investment academy, where people came to classes and learned to invest in real estate. I had monthly seminars with over 300 people attending it every single month, and my business was successful. I had a radio show on ABC, and things were going very well. Only one problem was, with all the success of working and doing seminars, investing in real estate on my own and teaching it with some of the credentials that I created there. I was busy with speaking, and I had Robert Kiyosaki on my show and his wife on a couple times as other luminaries. But my story continues, but people kept asking me, where's my book? Doug, I loved your seminar. I heard you on the radio. I can't afford your tuition for your class, but I'd love to read your book. And I didn't have one. So my staff said, Doug, just take some time off. You have no time to sit in the office. You get distracted with the email and the phone calls. Just go away and crank it out. Just sit down and write every day. So at the time, I had an airplane, and I flew my airplane to Turks and Caicos to get far, far away from Chicago. And I basically wrote every single day. Fortunately for me, it rained, so I didn't go out in the sunshine and scuba dive much, but I did sit in my my condo for 10 days, and I wrote. And it was a great experience. I figured I could transfer my success as a real estate investor and a developer and a teacher into becoming an author. Makes sense. Entrepreneurs are confident, right? So I'm a solopreneur. I just pull it off. I created my own cover, my own content, the title, and it didn't take me 10 days. I actually had to come back and finish the cover of it when I got back to the office. I got the whole thing done in 12 days. So I should be happy, right? What was the result of this enterprise, this first-time author thing with me not knowing anything? This was the result, which I happen to claim the ugliest book cover in the history of publishing. Real estate, yada, yada, yada. No more techniques. Get off your feet. This is just stupid, right? It's ugly. It looks like a third grader made the cover, and I was probably really too embarrassed to even publish it. Listen, folks, at the time, I was an investor and developer. I was not a writer. I wanted to be an author, but I didn't have the skills to write. I mean, think about the quality of a book written in 10 days. Even if I had it proofed, it didn't flow right. The cover was worse. The title was absolutely ridiculous. And the result of all this effort and pain, which was basically 3 years of waiting, a year of thinking about it, and 12 days of producing it, was nothing, zip, nada. And of course, about a year later after this, something very exciting happened in the world. It was called 2008. Okay, the real estate market tanked, and Doug's empire, his radio show, his airplane, his home, his properties, his developments, everything went down the sewer. So people say, "Oh, that was rough for a lot of people, Doug." And yes, I couldn't have talked about it back in 2009. It was debilitating. But at the end of the day, I had a foreclosure. I had 19 foreclosures. I lost everything. I lost my family. I lost my self-esteem. I was actually pretty close to being clinically depressed from this whole thing. And for about 9 months, I didn't talk to a single soul. And I had to crawl out of this thing. I had to think about how I could, not die, right, but actually do something. So being empty and with no business, it's a lot of self-reflection, guys. Now, if you've been there, I don't envy you. I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy. But I had to have some kind of solution. So my solution, crazy as it sounds, it was to write another book. And it was an adventure. Like, you know what? I started to chronicle some of my trials and tribulations, and I started investing what little money I had into other courses, how to write, how to publish, how this whole process works. Some of the classes or courses were good, some were not so great, and some were just ridiculous. But I was able to connect with best-selling entrepreneurs. Being on the radio for those few years, I did not burn any bridges, and I had an opportunity to go back and have quick conversations with best-selling entrepreneurs, not best-selling authors per se. Most of them were, but that's not what I talked to them about. We're talking about people you may have heard of, like Robert Kiyosaki, Greg Reed, who's written over 34 bestsellers, Laurel Langmeyer, Rhonda Britton, who routinely get six-figure advances. And these people, sometimes like I met Zig Ziglar for just a few minutes, having a quick conversation that I'll never forget. Or talking with Michael Drew, who's launched over 84 New York Times bestsellers. J.J. Virgin, there's Rhonda, and I'm sorry, Sharon Lecter earlier there, and Rhonda, and people like Michael Gerber from the E-Myth. So when you connect with those people, you tend to soak in some things if you're open to it. So I was looking for proven businesses, not just authors, and I was looking for positioning. I was looking for the big picture here, not just gimmicks of how to hijack the system for a few hours, but how do you really build this thing so people are calling you. And I discovered several unique methods that nobody was sharing until now, and I'm going to share them with you. It's a reverse engineering process I call Torch. It's 7 steps to sell, publish, and create your book. Now, I'm not an English major, but I know that most people do things in order. That should read how to create, publish, and sell your book, but that's not what we're going to do. Everybody else is doing it wrong, like this gentleman trying to launch his boat. A little bit backwards there. Traditional methods for publishing include people who write and edit and write and take forever or think about it, and then eventually they might launch it amongst a sea of over 500 to 700,000 books a year launch on Amazon, so it's 1/10 of 1/10 of 1/10 of 1% of books. You are going to be a drop in the ocean, literally. If you do have the strategy or the time or resources to campaign it after you write it, maybe you can make a dent in the universe. Most people start off building their audiences of friends and family. If they're fortunate through all that process, they may establish some authority, but think about the numbers and the odds. With several 100,000 books a year, rarely does anyone break out and establish authority with this traditional timeline of writing, launching, campaigning, etc. A contrarian method, which we're going to go into at a very deep level tonight, or this morning, wherever you're listening from, is do it backwards. We're going to build your audience first before you have your book even thought about, before it's crafted, before you have a title, anything. The audience comes first. And then we're going to establish some authority and recognition through the audience, and it's going to be given to you. You're not going to ask for it. We're going to campaign with collaboration, and then, of course, we're going to have the readers help us create the content, and that makes it much easier for us. And then we can launch. We'll launch with all these people, with our authority JV partners, with our audience, the whole thing. It goes so much faster and so much larger by doing this thing in reverse. If you learn anything from this presentation tonight, this is the slide. Everything's backwards, and it all works faster. This is the traditional timeline, which is write, edit, wait, publish, wait, reviews, and maybe hope for some sales. The leverage timeline goes positioning, content, and marketing comes first. We position it, we pull our content together with our audience, and we actually use them to help us market, and it sells before you publish. Okay? So the 7 steps are, first, time. Step 1, take time to build your audience first. We're going to organize your team and assets. We're going to request honest feedback immediately because we might change our whole book premise. We're going to create a brand that actually pops and stands out. And then we're going to hack in a nice way. We're going to use shortcuts to establish your authority and positioning. And then we're going to engage. We're going to continue to serve and curate content and connect with those people. So when the book is launching, it's going to go much faster, much deeper than doing it one piece at a time. Excuse me. And then we're going to duplicate. We're going to use a very limited set of tools to automate appropriately and leverage where we can. So step 1, build that audience. CPR failed. This is the failure of a traditional CPR. This is just a funny slide I thought was humorous when I'm looking up CPR fails, right? You don't do CPR in a crash test dummy. CPR for authors is different. We're going to focus on the audience's burning desire with the right content, and then we're going to focus on pre-sales. We're going to find out what their real pain is. We're going to ask questions about their real pain, and then we're going to build relationships with those people. That might mean actually picking up the phone. You social media people, Raise your hand if you're a social media person. You like Facebook, you like LinkedIn, you tweet. We all do. That's good. But we're also going to talk about some offline strategies that integrate with your online stuff tonight. Okay, so pre-selling ideas. Pain is gain. It's not bad to talk about pain, especially if you can pour some salt in there and get people riled up a little bit. Most marketers, not all, but most will gloss over the selling of the details. And the details is where the money is. When you get into the person's real deep-seated pain for your book's content or even title, it's going to really help you out. Because most of your audience already knows your industry. They've already looked at your competitors' books. They've already purchased some of the courses you've purchased. You must position yourself in an intelligent manner. So when you do that, you will address them boldly and honestly. Hey, I don't know everything. I share with you my fall from grace, the crap that I went through, my bad book before I show you the good ones. When you show up like that, honestly, you're going to sell more because your vulnerability creates a connection. And that relates to leadership. So I have a little quick acronym on leadership is SAY leadership, which is S-A-Y. Number one, style. Okay? How are you going to actually communicate and become a leader in your group with your audience? You're going to eliminate monologues. You're going to focus on having conversations and saying things in the right way. You're going to ask. You're going to be very open to new ideas. I hinted at the idea of if you have an idea for a book, are you open to the idea that it's the wrong idea? Are you open to the fact that after you start talking with your audience, what if your premise is just flat out wrong? Or they don't care, or they've got a better solution, right? Also ask, who is your ideal client? Ask that of yourself. For most authors, quite frankly, their ideal client is themselves. Like in my case, I wrote that second book for myself because I needed to cathartically get through my crap. And then you. When it comes to leadership and building your community, the best leaders empower other leaders immediately. Give it up. It's not your ego. It's not about you. Your whole book, your book is not for you. Even your brand and your company isn't for you. It's for your clients. So give them the authority to become leaders within your tribe, in your community, whatever you want to call it. So that relates to crowd-created content. Here's a trick that my friend Robert Curry taught me in terms of getting an idea for a book. If you don't have an idea for a book, you're going to love this. Go to your industry. You have a general industry, whether it's cooking or children's books or spiritual, whatever it is, and go to your competitors' books and look for every 3-star review you can find and make a note about it. Take out a piece of paper and a pencil, take out a notepad, and write down what are people saying who give a 3-star review. We're going to avoid 5-star reviews. Those are by their best friends and mother. And we're going to avoid 1-star reviews. Those are by TikTok people who have nothing better to do than complain. But 3-star reviews are folks that took the time to read the book, liked it, but had some constructive criticism. When you start compiling all those 3-star reviews, guess what you're going to have? You're going to have an idea that is not being discussed and not being addressed by your competition. That's what your book should be about. Other things you can do is start Facebook commenting, go on other people's walls, join other groups, and start conversations there. You can also use a survey or even a crowdfunding program to get buy-in and feedback and opinions for your content of your book. If you stick around for the end of this presentation, I'm going to give you, provide for you actually a proprietary pre-sell your book bonus. So stick around for that. Is anybody interested in how to pull that off? Raise your hands. All right, you can raise your hands there on this system, Jim. Maybe you can, maybe you cannot, but you can go in the chat box and maybe comment on that. Step 2, after you've done your building your audience, is to organize that a little bit. Organizational keys include ranking your tribe by influence. As you start building people in your group, you're going to have some people that have that are your best friends, or maybe have a small list. But you also run across people who have large lists and large followings. So you want to rank them by influence. And take their notes and start a file of what they're telling you about the industry, what's missing, what they like, what they don't like. And then start building your team. Assign some roles. Say, hey, I'm building this tribe, building this community. I'd love for somebody to help be a guest blogger or to help me edit my book. You'll be amazed how many people want to help you when you're talking about a topic that interests them. Right? That's a real key point there. If they're interested in this topic and you're commenting in Facebook groups or starting your own group, ask for help right away. Okay? You'll have your 2 or your 3 amigos that way. So Obviously, this is the summary here. Build your reader base before your book is written. You may discover that your initial theme is not what they actually want. And leadership creates other leaders. So start with that early and often. When you do this right, you'll get a responsive list for, most importantly, pre-sales. We're going to sell your book early on before it's even written. An example I'm going to give you is I created a dating profile using a pen name about a year ago on a book that I was planning. So the book's theme, right, there was a specific target market I was focusing here. I tested on the audience before I created the book. And so I got input and ideas from these people on the dating profile, and I got over 900 people to give me specific information about what they were looking for in the demographic that I outlined in this site. It was a, here's a site. It was called Tagged, and had a target audience, and it was very specific. It wasn't, I'm not going to tell you the details on it, right, because it's sort of secret. I use a pen name for a reason. But it was a specific demographic I was targeting for dating. So I had ideas, I asked for some feedback, and I engaged with over 900 people. How do you talk with 900 people? Well, I started talking one at a time, quick chats, and I worked up to about 10 to 20 a day, and then I hired an assistant, a virtual assistant, to do it with me. Okay? And what happened was I was able to organize these concepts according to the audience. It wasn't my idea, it was their burning desire that created this book. So an entrepreneurial author who's doing this for business purposes, not for ego or just a short story, they're collecting actual data from the people who are going to read their book. 50 Shades of Grey did this. She did not become a New York Times bestseller and a blockbuster, soon-to-be blockbuster movie, I'm assuming, because she thought this idea out herself and just started writing. She had a Kindle book. 50 Shades of Grey was a Kindle book for 2 years before it went to the regular publisher and hardcover. She collected data from her target audience, right? She designed the books that people had requesting, right? Female porn. And engaging one-on-one with as many people as possible. I know it's tedious and sometimes takes a lot of time, but there's no substitute for it, so you got to do that. And of course, asking for editorial input before you publish, including them as a launch partner, is just people help out, right? So go ahead and ask them. And this one strategy that I employed when I tested this out, it pre-sold 500 books before it was written. They were actually committed to buying the book before it was written. Okay? Step 3 on the torch thing. You've done the building the audience and organized it. Now we're going to request. We're going to specifically request things. We're going to question everything because questions equal power. When you make statements, you're saying something that you already know. You're not learning anything by making a statement. When you ask a question, you learn something. You get feedback, and that's where the real power is. So when you ask questions of your audience, don't just stop with the first question. Drill down. Ask them why. Ask yourself why more than once. And ask the right people. Don't just ask anybody. Ask the right people because influence matters. You want to go ahead and target high-level influencers when you ask these questions. Go ahead and ask top-level people, A-level people in your industry because those ideas can always expand into solutions. And when you ask an influencer, ask an A-lister, you're going to build goodwill. People are going to help you later on in this whole process. And of course, when you run across those people or individuals who want to help you, give them leadership. I'm not going to repeat that more than about 8 times tonight. So get used to it because you're gonna start doing that. And when you do that, of course, you're going to build real relationships. That picture there is critical. Look what's in the middle of that. There's an offline puzzle piece surrounded by 4 online puzzle pieces. When you connect selflessly, like Lane described, I helped him out selflessly with sincerity and intent. When you do that, you will bridge the gap between online and offline, and you will show up like nobody else. These people who just focus on launching the book only on Facebook, just that's all they do, it's myopic. It doesn't go anywhere fast or any very long. Lane took that thing from online to offline instantly. He did it in front of about 120 people at his very first workshop. And that creates, of course, authentic engagement because then people know you and they like you and they trust you before you ask for anything. It's going to work. When people want what you've got, make sure they want it before they know you have it. If you're going to write a note down, taking notes, this is a good one, right? We want them to want what we've got before they know that we have it. Because if they know we have it and we got them to want it, what are you doing? You're selling. But when they want what we've got before they know we have it, we're engaging. We're having a conversation. We're not selling yet. And of course, if we get them to want to give us a crystal clear message, before you publish, guess what you publish? You publish a crystal clear message. It's so cool. This obviously compels them to do what? To buy. Yay! So who's an influencer? There's 5 main categories of influencers you can target. Any one of these or any combination is going to serve you very, very well. Nonprofits, for-profits, bloggers, competition, we'll talk about that in detail, and the media. Each of these points is critical here. When it comes to media, we're not going to start out promoting ourselves. They don't want to hear from you. They don't care about you. They care about the story they're working on today and how you can help them with that. Competition, we're going to niche ourselves deeper in there. We're not going to compete with our competition. And bloggers, we're going to go after the top-level bloggers. And the for-profits and profits, there's actually a little triangle of love there you can combine with those 2 entities. We'll talk about that in a moment. Stick around at the very end of this, guys. I'm going to give you also a PR on steroids cheat sheet, how I use the current trending news to actually leverage yourself as an expert. Even if you've never done a media interview in your life, I'm going to give you a cheat sheet how you can be in the news like within a day. Okay, first of all, nonprofits. Nonprofits, when you select one of those or 2 of those to work with, make sure they're in alignment with your own values. Volunteerism is a very wise investment of your time. Not only is it a good thing to do, but when you become the hub of the wheel in a nonprofit, when you become a committee chairperson, when you actually contribute and do something with a nonprofit, you are building huge influence. Where do you think, I have a lot of clients who they're focusing on high-level business people. They say, how do I get in front of billionaires, Doug? And my only response is, well, you can't market to billionaires on Facebook, for starters. You cannot market to billionaires on Twitter, necessarily. LinkedIn, perhaps. But what you should probably do is volunteer to work at a nonprofit. You know, go to some black tie functions, because that's where they hang out. They go and they like being philanthropists. You got to hang out where philanthropists go. Corporations, a lot of my clients work directly with. I mean, they start out with nothing. One of my clients started off working as a salesperson with a company. When he retired, he went and contacted that same company as a consultant. They hired him. He was making $5,000 to $10,000 a talk on the company he just retired from. When you contact corporations, you can target them as a vendor or perhaps even as a journalist or as a writer when you're working on your book. Great resources are had by interviewing corporations. If you were working on a book about health and you want to go to Whole Foods and say, I want to interview about some of your systems or processes there, you're going to have a connection at Whole Foods. And they'll take your call because you're working on a book, right? And once you start to publish and promote that later on, guess who you can contact as a launch partner? Cha-ching! This is huge. Don't just focus on the little people. Focus on the big ones. They want to help you because you're going to help them even more. Bloggers are great. They've actually taken over a lot of the traditional media reach that we have out there. But you've got to find the right ones. And the only way to do that is there's some automated ways to do that I can share with you at the end here. But contacting bloggers, do not start off promoting your own stuff, right? You're going to be a leech. Go there and to their blog, find out what they're talking about, comment on it, and share their content. Go ahead and tweet it out and share it and say, hey, this is really cool. You should read this guy's stuff. I do it almost every day on my social media. I'm promoting other people's stuff. If you really want to stand out, do a quick video review and post it on YouTube and then tag their name in there. That'll show up in their stream, and if they have Google Alerts on, they're going to say, hey, man, someone just did a video about how cool I am. Yay, I like you too. Vertical brands. There's no competition in your industry. I don't care what it is. The moment you become an author, all authors help each other out. Unless you're a person that only has one book, okay? You have no competition. We all have more than one book. I may only have only one cell phone, right? So AT&T and Verizon are competitors to me. But as an author, there is no competition. You can joint venture with other authors so easily and so seamlessly and help each other out. And the media. This is big for me. I'm a journalist with Newswire, so I've got an in the industry, and it's important to understand how the industry works. You can message me later after this is over. I'll be happy to share with you some very specific, I have a couple of actually ebooks I'll just give you on how to connect with the media and how to make your press release news release. Okay, we're going to talk about newsjacking later on, and you're going to really flip when you see how that works. Bottom line is, don't be a suck-up when you're contacting the media and you're contacting the corporations, nonprofits. Don't just, be a server, right? Influence by giving. And these are my favorite books on how to pull that off. Bob Burg is in here more than once because he's my friend and a brilliant author, and he's got it just locked down. 7 Habits is a great one. Endless Referrals is by Bob. I wrote the book on it. It's actually my book about how to write a book. And then the other 2 I really enjoy. The Obvious Expert and Getting Slightly Famous is a really cool book about establishing authority in your niche, not trying to go world famous, but being famous in your industry. So jot those books down, and I think you'll enjoy reading any or all of those. Summary is you got to target key influencers. Surfacely serve, do not sell stuff, and convert all of your online conversations to offline as quickly as you can. When you have authentic engagement and add that client-driven content, you're going to make more sales on your book and your brand. Okay, step 4, we're going to create this content. Now, how do you do that? First of all, you got to be unique. And now this one of those funny slides here. Being unique does not mean you are useful. So you know, there's a lot of things about standing out, right? You want to stand out from the crowd with that. When you create your brand, you've got to do the 3 Ps, right? Positioning, different. It's good to be different, right? But don't stop there. And when it comes to your platform, you've got to build that audience. I spent the first 2 segments on this presentation about building a loyal and engaging community of people. And then when you start creating your brand for products, you might want to segment those by modality, taking your book and making it a audiobook or digital book or video. And then we also want to segment by solution. You might have 3 or 4 different solutions, so your product's going to be segmented by that area as well. So when it comes to positioning, it's important to position yourself inside your industry. That's very true. But don't forget how it looks from the outside. Some people who are not your clients are still going to see you. How you show up outside your industry is critical. Doesn't mean you have to be a nicey nice. It could mean you be controversial. That's okay, but you need to be aware of that. And of course, your positioning is all about your USP, your unique selling proposition, how your unique solution really fits in the industry. My uniqueness is I reverse everything. I don't write, publish, and sell. I sell, publish, and write. So that's my uniqueness. I think you probably figured that out by now. And of course, when it comes to positioning a book, don't put your face on the cover. Unless you're a celebrity, a politician, or an athlete, nobody knows who you are. So position your brand, not your ego. Until you become nationally famous, then putting your face on a book does work. Here's unfortunately hilarious. I blacked out this poor girl's name. Her positioning is, coaching is good. Coaching is good. Well, I hope it is. Because I'm not going to go to your site if coaching is bad. Stating the obvious is not good positioning. The next slide is great positioning. It's controversial, but man, she's got it locked down. I can't pronounce her name that easily. Erica Napolitano is this audacious redhead chick who swears like a sailor. And she does it effortlessly, and she ticks people off, and she offends people left and right. And she is a branding expert. I just love the colors on that. Look at that. We get the red head, the red bold name, the red play button on the Rethinking Pop, the red TEDx talk. It's all connected very seamlessly, very slick. Positioning is important, but platform is equally important. So what is a platform? I have a slight basics here. Obviously, it's a group of fans and readers that the author has pre-established. They know you ahead of time. Otherwise, they're not going to buy your book if they don't like you or know you. It's just another book out there. A platform is also a sphere of influencers, the corporations, the social media connections, the people I earlier discussed. Or if you're going the traditional publishing route, a platform is something publishers insist authors have before noticing they even exist. Before you even think about going to a traditional publisher, like my friend Rhonda Britton has done many, many times and gotten 6-figure advances on her book, she walked in there with an established platform. You got to have that, or they're going to ignore you. So, the second part of actually, getting people to love you, getting people to engage with you, I'm going to reiterate, getting the book Endless Referrals. I've given away over 254 copies of this book. It's that good, right? I love this book. The author is a certifiable genius. Get the book. Go Giver is the second book. It talks about this whole idea of really selflessly serving without expecting anything in return and doing it like at a really high level. I mentioned those 2 books and 7 Habits. Intentional content. Once you start curating and compiling your content from your people, understand who you are writing it for. Groups of people don't read books. Even in this little picture here, we have an individual person reading a book. So write it for one person. Create your avatar or your ideal client. Get their name, where they went to school, their age, occupation, what kind of shoes they wear, political affiliation, everything. Create that perfect profile of your reader, and then ask yourself, what do you want them to do when they read your book? I get this question. I ask this question to all my authors. What do you want them to actually do? Oh, I want them to be inspired. I want them. Okay, how do you measure that? How do you monetize that? If you don't have a call to action or a process for monetizing your book, you are going to develop a very, very expensive journal or diary for yourself. You may want to do that, that's fine, but I would encourage you to recoup your investment and then some. And one of the ways we do this is by using user-generated content. I talk about this at the beginning of the presentation like it's a real super secret method, right? But here's the truth. The biggest brands and websites on the planet are all user-generated. Think about this. YouTube has, Jim knows these details better than I do, several million new uploads probably every single day on YouTube. YouTube doesn't create videos. Facebook doesn't create walls. Google doesn't really create a whole lot of content. Neither does Twitter, neither does LinkedIn. They make us do it. And we do it willingly because it's a portal. Same thing with book series. Think about this. Chicken Soup for the Soul. 186 million copies sold, Chicken Soup for the Soul. And those cats didn't write a single word. Well, okay, they wrote the book proposal, and they wrote perhaps the introduction. But the meat of the book was user-generated. Same thing with my friend Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad series. Most of those books were written by other people. He just branded it up as a team. When you do start thinking about pricing your stuff out, test your prices with beta group people. It not only validates pricing, but it gives you other ideas from your tribe. And of course, when you do put those things together, I want you to really focus on your packaging. Some people spend so much time creating their content, they forget that packaging is what people are actually buying. They're going to look at your cover and go, wow, that is cool. I like this cover. Technically, I love this cover. I could look at this cover and I could erase the title and know what it's about, right? A light bulb with a dandelion. Ideas that spread. Dude, it's beautiful. Okay, your mind thinks in pictures, right? Regardless of the title. Regardless of the title. So if you're writing a relationship book, like this one, Programmed for Love, okay, you don't put a short-haired girl with an ugly sweater on there. I'm sorry if you're watching this presentation, honey, but whoever you are, they miscast you. When it comes to I'm really going to focus most of my clients on creating their product at their book, start thinking, curating, repositioning your transcriptions into audio files, taking those audio files and making webinars out of it, making training modules, even doing like what Lane did, which is create an event. When you do that, you have more stuff to give away. You can give away, like I'm going to give you guys my 13 best tools I used to create my business. And it took me a long time to figure out which ones worked and which ones didn't. So I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you 2 things tonight. Stick around. I'm actually going to give you our system as well. I think you'll really enjoy that. 3 Ps to a book that sells are positioning, your platform, and your products. Remember, it's not just the book. Utilize your network, and please be authentic. Okay? I'm creating a product this year called Hire Someone to Read This Book. It's about my experience and my methodology hiring virtual assistants. The book is still being created, but at the same time, I'm creating a video series, an audio series, and a workshop for it. So out of this, a whole brand out of it, and you can do the exact same thing. I'll show you how to do it. Step 5 are the 7-step processes, hacking, and we're not talking about maliciously hacking. A hacker's solution to a maze is to not engage in it, but to leap around it. I'm going to share with you some critical concepts on how you can hack your way or leapfrog your way into building your book and your brand ethically, really critical. We're going to leverage significance for yourself. We're going to develop social proof so others are talking about you. It's one thing for you to say how great you are, right? That's called arrogance. But when someone else talks about how great you are, it's confidence, it's an endorsement. And when you do that, you'll get much more sign-ups, much faster tribe building. So significance. This is the slow and steady part. You know, the tortoise won the race because he was slow and steady. So it is. We're going to leapfrog, but it doesn't mean we're going to ignore starting locally. You're not going to be on Good Morning America without being in your local newspaper or radio station or regional place first, unless you've committed a crime, okay, or done something just amazing. Most people need to start locally, and when you do that, you cut your teeth with talking with a local journalist or getting in a local radio show, and you get good at it. And that's where those national journalists and hosts look for content. They go to the local stories because they're lazy. They get those things from local and regional outlets. And the significance comes by serving. You probably heard me say that 18 times tonight as well. Serving your local tribe, your mentors, serving them, helping your mentor, your coach, whoever that is, and you've got them. People you're following on Facebook, people you respect. You help them out early and often. You're gonna do very, very well. And of course, at some point during all this engagement and forgetting with that. It's one thing to think that, hey, I can't afford to do a $1,000 a month advertising campaign or hire a $5,000 a month PR agency starting out. That's fine. But as soon as you start doing your organic marketing and social sharing, don't forget to talk to someone like Jim, quite frankly, to get your Facebook advertising started, because for just a few bucks, integrating advertising with organic search, now you're really all over the place. So keep that in mind. It will help in your significance as well. Your steps to significance, in a nutshell: keep it small and focused, create measurable differences, and document your successes. Once you've helped somebody out, document it, and make sure that ask them for a case study or a testimonial or a screenshot. People, don't just say, hey, thank you very much, and leave them alone, right? Keep paying it forward. I'm coming back to Lane's event, I think in a month or two, to help him again take his next book to bestseller, help communicate and share and teach his community. When it comes to doing that, your social proof, some bullet points on that. Make sure you always put pictures on anything you do. Pictures tell 1,000 words, right? Just talking about it is one thing, but you got to have digital pictures. Your proof should be very, very to the point and encouraging for people. Your media needs to be targeted to the context. Real briefly on this, Gary Vaynerchuk's book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Get it. It's a phenomenal read. He talks in depth about aligning your content with your context. What that means is a tweet is only 140 posts on Twitter. It doesn't fit, and the bit.ly link on there that you're going to have, or the shortening link on there, might work, but you got to have an engaging headline to make that work. Vice versa, if you're going to do an Instagram picture, make sure it has a point to it, and there's a link to a lead somewhere. So your media has got to be specific to your audience. Okay, when you integrate these four things, it's really critical to do at least 3 out of 4 or all 4 of these. And here's a great slide to memorize right now. Start with the upper left here. Okay, there's John, right? There's John saying to Jane, I'm a great lover. That's called marketing. Hey, this is how cool I am. That's marketing. That's your advertising, right? Someone is telling you, the consumer, how great you are. Advertising is doing it over and over again. I'm a great lover, John says. I'm a great lover. 3 times to Jane. Now, when Betty Sue, the girl with the ponytail, she's got Betty Sue, she tells Jane that he's a great lover, that's PR. Jane's saying, hey man, if Betty Sue thinks he's a great lover, that works, right? Now, down to John says, hey, I has listened to John, the marketer, John, the advertiser, and Betty Sue, the PR agent. When those things all come to play, it's going to work here, right? These two are going to fall in love and make babies. So, media mentions. When you do media, when we do it with you, Newsspot, there's links that we'll put our agents, our books, will go into all these publications, our news, The Sun. It all starts with Google News, and as a certified journalist, Google News books get in there the day they want it to. That's just one of the services we offer. And a validation of that is obviously my own bestseller at work. But when we creatively influence people, when we serve other people's social media organically, we don't have to push through. It happens because, right? When you're a stringer to broadcast media, they tend to start to listen to you. Some of you know what that is, but if you don't, let's suppose you've got a book, a children's book, right? And you want your local newspaper to talk about your children's book, but they don't know you, and you call them up and tell them, hey, I've got this story I want you to talk about, or can you interview me? They're going to say, I'm busy working on a story. Call me back later. And you politely say, okay, thank you, and hang up. That's not a good way to get your better way is to call up your local journalist and say, hey, I'm an author and I connect with a lot of authors. What story are you working this week? Maybe I can provide an expert for you. Well, thank you very much. I'm working on texting and driving right now. It's a story we're working on. Who do you know? And you'll say, you know what, I got some people in the street. Let me get back to you on that. And then you go to work and you become a stringer. You help them with their story. If you do this 2 or 3 or 4 times the same person, you've got a new friend in the media. And eventually they might ask you what else you've got, or what are you working on yourself, and you've got to have a story in the newspaper or TV or radio. Or at some point, hey, listen, I want to do a really cool story. I've got an angle here you might appreciate. And I did an interview with journalists. This is a great story. I got to share it. I did not in the slide here, but it was so good. He had a client come in, right, and the house didn't sell. It was sitting on the market for 6 months. So my friend Mike Taylor looked up some stats. He looked up housing prices in Central Ohio, and he found out that houses at the $110,000 level had like a 3% growth rate. Houses at the $2,000 level were appreciating 9%. So he wrote this news piece up about appreciation levels in Ohio. And in the news piece, he inserted a photo. He said, now, in some cases, $35,000 more than what they were asking. Because this client approached Mike not to sell his house, because Mike was smart enough to make a news piece about housing in general and use his $250 press release turned into $35,000 for his client. The third thing is I mentioned earlier about if you don't have the expert status today, I'm an influencer yourself having the expert status. And you can do this by being an expert guest columnist on other people's blogs. Start writing your blog posts for other people. But Oprah did it in a very, very interesting way, and she's not the first one to do it. She's just the most prolific one. Earns a lot more money than her guests, right? This lady's a billionaire. Most of her clients and guests are not. But she became a publisher before she wrote a book, right? She was a journalist. She actually started out as a journalist and got the honor of trying to save this poorly performing show in Chicago, and she turned it around. And she brought people on and did great interviews, and she earned her expert status by interviewing other experts. All my friends in the podcasting industry do this as a matter of due course. It's simple to do. I strongly suggest if you don't have the expert status in your industry, start interviewing those other experts. They're going to appreciate you promoting them, and you're going to learn a lot, and you'll develop new friendships. It's a great way, no matter what you're doing. I don't care what your industry is. It works very, very well. So the 3 big things here are media leverage, tangible, measurable, documented benefits, and then focusing on those third-party referrals, not promoting yourself, having other people do it for you. That creates viral shares. That gets people buzzing and talking about your topic, right? Now we're ready to engage. What do you see? Okay, what do you see with your perspective? I have people come to me with their idea for a book. Hey, Doug, I've got this book about this topic. What do you think? And I'll do a quick search, or I happen to have the knowledge, and I'll say, listen, that's great. If you are writing about How to Win Friends, Make New Friends, I'm going to go to Dale Carnegie. All right, How to Win Friends, Influence People is one of the top 5 books on the planet. He's the expert. He's no longer with us, but his book is still around. So if you get a book about friendship, you have pretty stiff competition there. What's your perspective on that? Maybe like Erica Napolitano's perspective is being unpopular. That's her moniker. That's like a brilliant idea. Mine is to do things backwards, to sell your book before you write it. So your perspective has to be unique, right? Contrarian or controversial is even better than being unique. Even encouraging dissent is okay. Now, you must encourage dissent within reason. Like poor Salman Rushdie here, who wrote this Satanic Verses, got a price on his head and had to leave the country, if you remember that story from a few years ago. So being unique and being controversial is really good. Requesting and engaging is brilliant. A lot of movie stars don't do regular commercial ads in the United States because it affects their brand, but they'll gladly do it overseas, right? I'm not sure what language this is. Maybe Jim knows. It could be Korean. I'm not sure. I can't tell what that is. Oh, maybe Vietnamese. I'm not sure. But George Clooney's advertising Scotch for them, and there's perspective of that is obviously it's critical. The uniqueness in the USP is can't be overstated, and then promoting it by promoting others first is promoting this whiskey for them. Okay, and then they're in alignment together, and the whiskey is obviously cross-promoting George. That's the way it works. So how are you positioned in your niche? Think about that. Think very hard about your idea for your book and how you are positioned. All right? If it's not unique enough yet, if someone else is saying what you're saying, it's going to be a little bit hard to break out, right? Who else can say what you're going to say? Well, somebody can certainly copy what I'm saying tonight. They can say, yes, we should reverse engineer your book and sell it first, then publish it, and then get it out there to people, and then write it. But they're not going to say it the way I say it. They're not going to say it with my name, my brand, my face on there. When you do find a position with your competition or friends out there, you're going to find those gaps, those 3-star reviews. Make sure you leverage those in an effective way and exploit them. Occasionally, you can collaborate with a competition. I work with a couple other people who do what I do. I've got a very good friend out in California, Bart Baggett, who does exactly what I do. He helps people create their books and helps make them Amazon bestsellers. Our businesses are almost identical, but we are collaborating on a very unique project that only we can do together. So I might not promote his main products because it competes with mine, but our co-created product, we're going to rock it out because we're going to combine a list on that. And we're going to have a lot of fun. Pay it forward promotion. This is you've heard me say this again several times throughout this presentation. You got to pay it forward, guys. You got to give first, and you got to have your tribal-driven content, having your community content. The only way you're going to get that content is by asking for it, and then when you organize all that content, do it with them in mind. Do it with what they want to hear and see, not what you want to talk about. And when you quickly give it fully. Don't hold back. I'm not holding back tonight. I'm giving you everything I got on how to create this book and make it work for you. And when you do create that content from them, you're fulfilling their needs. Oh, for sure. There's a guarantee. They've already told you they're going to buy it. And when you do that in an effective way, you're going to harness those psychological triggers, those buy buttons, because you create that pain and you pour some salt in there and they told you they want it. It's not even a sell. They're going to buy. You're not going to sell. They're going to buy. And what this all relates to, what this boils down to, quite frankly, is a stance is going to be authentically delivered by other people. Okay? If you want to drill down the past 59 minutes here in one sentence, this is it. Your unique stance authentically delivered by others. Okay? And finally, once you pull this all together, the 7th step is to duplicate this. Once you've created the content, built your audience, got your launch partners together, ready to come out with a book, you're going to want to systematize some very critical things. So repetition is critical. You don't want to reinvent the wheel. So I prefer being a farmer versus a hunter. Create sequences to consistently engage your audience. When I talk about sales to my team, my people, I start with customer service. Because if I can't have effective and positive and engaging and authentic customer service, telling them sometimes the awful truth, oh, I'm sorry, your book covered 3 days late because of something. If I don't tell them ahead of time, I look like a dork, and that affects me. So sales is service. Just keep that in mind. I use very few tools. I use some very specific ones I'll give you tonight, but I use the right tools. And I'm going to give you this this little ebook I wrote on the 13 best productivity tools you cannot live without. I cannot. I don't think you will either once you start using them. Lastly on this, I want to talk about funnels. A lot of people know the top part of this funnel. Well, I'm going to start with some social media engagement and have my opt-in bribe, my freebie, my giveaway. Like I'm giving you some stuff tonight. You've already heard me say that, right? And then I'm going to engage with you and have you subscribe to my blog or my newsletter and maybe send some emails and send you to a landing page. And hey, you know what? If you like this stuff, what I've given you, imagine what it's going to be like when we do business together. What's going to happen then? We're going to make a sale. I'm going to work with you directly. We're going to get some really great things done for your book and your brand. And most people stop there. That's their funnel. I'm going to encourage you to double funnel. Where you do all that stuff I just described, the top funnel, which is very important, right? But the double funnel is much like a relationship. The top is where you date, right? I'm going to date you and get to know you. We're going to hang out, you know, a little kissy. And then in the middle, hey, we're going to do business together. I'm looking forward to it. But then what happens, right? That's no joke, okay? It's going to be a good marriage. We're going to have fun. We're going to work on our issues here. We're going to talk about them. But after we do that, we have a family. We're going to do more things. We're going to actually get together. I'm going to meet you. We're going to go to events. I'm going to come to Australia. You're going to come to the United States. We're going to have fun and do things. We're going to have a family. We're going to make kids start each other's content. We're going to do book launches together. And we're going to share each other's social media so that as your tribe grows and you create other tribes with me and my other authors, you're exponentially going to be out there all over the place. The double funnel is something I want you to memorize that picture in your brain. You're gonna use it for the rest of your life. Limiting my systems, you know, I like using the phone. I like LinkedIn a lot. I like actually doing meetups and meeting people face to face whenever possible. Websites, I do use some technology there. I use WordPress and Lead Pages and Aweber. My research, I have a couple tools that I really enjoy. One of them is Authority Spy and SEO Quick, which my webmaster uses more than me. I don't do that stuff too much. And then for having my virtual assistant and staff, some great sites out there such as onlinejobs.ph, Odesk, and Elance. All these are listed in the giveaway I want to give you at the end, so you don't have to write these down, but I do want to let you know that building your business requires building systems. So make sure you got some core ones and don't go overboard with them. Of course, back to customer service selling, I'm going to reiterate this one last time. When you create bonuses for your book and your launch and your products, make your bonuses just ridiculous. You know that we've been together here for an hour, and I'm going to offer you something at the very end here, and my bonuses exceed what we're going to be talking about. You'll get that in a minute. Make it very easy. And a lot of people make it hard. There's like 14 processes to check out. Just make it a click or two, and you're good going. And then if you do affiliates, if you have somebody you're going to joint venture with or work with them, or you're going to share other people's products, don't go over. Unless that's your business. If some people, as a core business model, this is okay to affiliate heavily. When you do affiliate marketing, do that lightly. When you offer guarantees, make them off the chart ridiculous. When we go through mine here in a few minutes, you're going to see what I'm talking about. It's like there's no way you can't say you can't say no. It's that good. All right. So obviously it's all those relate to over delivering. Not as a matter of strategy, not as a matter of a tactic, but as a habit. Over-deliver as a habit, like it's in your DNA. Okay? Whoa, who's this? This is not my baby. This is a stock photo, right? But were you surprised? I hope so. Because boring is bad for business, right? You must asking for input, showcasing them early and often. That's surprising them. Okay? If you don't do this, authoring will be a pain for you. Here are the stone cold facts about authoring, right? This is a statistic that I've read in more than one location. 84% of people, that's everybody, guys, 84% of people have thought about writing a book. Or been told they should. Less than 1% ever do. And you and I both know why that is, right? It's easy to do. Just go ahead and start writing or start auto tape, recording your voice and transcribing it. That's what I did. It sucked, right? Most authors or would-be authors have been lied to. Okay? Most book coaches make it seem so simple. Hey, just do this. Here's my 7-step, boom, bang, you're done. It's not that simple. And it's not your fault, right? It's not your fault that you've been lied to. I can't help that. But now that you know more, because we spent an hour together, I taught you some great stuff, I hope. But now it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to filter this stuff down and digest and go, you know what? We can break this down. We can eat this elephant one bite at a time. Because there's frustrations, but there's also benefits in the whole thing. The benefit, of course, is you have a book inside you. Most entrepreneurs I speak with, they've got at least 5. And that adds to the overwhelm. I'm going to help you chunk that down and do one at a time. You know being a published author is going to set you apart from the competition. There's no doubt in my mind that being a published author and not being a published author is going to be night and day. You go into a client's office and say, I'm a published author on your topic, you are invited into the CEO suite, right? Because they don't even have a book. Being a recognized author creates more sales. Just plain and simple. Sales of the book, certainly. But most authors don't make money on the book itself. They make money on their ancillary products and services and brand because of the book. Okay, so where are you? Where are you right now? More importantly, where are you going to be? You don't get this done this year. If you just sit back, like a lot of my friends and previous clients have sat back for years and thought about it, the minute they make a decision to actually do it, it's a big thing. It's a change. So what change are you going to create this year for yourself? Is it going to be the book? Is that what's going to be for you? I hope so. But at the bottom line, you've got to basically, take massive action. Okay, I'm going to start writing. I'm going to hire you, Doug. We're going to get going right away and everything. We're going to do the whole thing. That's one option. Okay, massive action immediately. It can be scary, but people do it. Another action, the most common one, is to take no action, think about it, sleep on it, and wait tomorrow, next month, the next year, and say, no, I'm still thinking about it. I write notes down, and basically you haven't taken any action at all, and you make no changes. The third option is what I'm going to suggest tonight, which is take a big step. Don't take a big step necessarily. Take a small step and see immediate results to move your book forward. Great combination. One big step, big results, right? Are you overwhelmed? You may be, and I apologize. That's the nature of this whole process. There are so many things to consider. The psychology, the concept, the positioning, the platform, the media, the editing, the proofing, publishing, the sales. There's some stuff everyone's overwhelmed with the book, right? There's a solution. I know I've covered a lot of ground. If you feel this overwhelmed, we can sit right now. Okay? Here's my solution. Okay? Engage in my team or not, just do not go as alone. I went alone in my first book. It was awful. Right? No well-regarded book is ever created by a single individual. All well-regarded books. All right? I'm talking about high-quality stuff here. They're always created with a team of people. Okay, here's an example of a doctor I work with. Listen to what Dr. Huff says.
Dr. Charles Huff, and I'm eternally grateful to Doug Crow and his program for helping me get this book written. It's been in my head for years, and without his streamlined procedures and steps to take, I could have never gotten it done in the timeline that I did. Thanks again, Doug. I couldn't recommend him highly enough.
And here's another physician. This is Dr. Serini, who came out with a book called Dead End Medicine, right? This is a book about the healthcare system. And with our connections, we actually coordinated his book launch with a movie launch. The movie was called Escape Fire, and guess what? It was about the exact same topic. So we had an event that we hosted a video screening of the movie with copies of his book. So imagine being able to do that. We coordinate your book launch with a major documentary or even a major movie. It's possible. You have to be proactive, you have to be aware, and have some connections for that. Here's a columnist, one of my clients created a book. This is Kristen Sunderhaft.
Hi, my name is Kristen Sunderhaft. I'm an LPGA golf professional in Las Vegas, and I have been a member of the LPGA for over 20 years now. And today I'd like to talk to you about Doug Crow. Doug is the reason I finally have my first
Uh-oh, it looks like we just lost Doug. There must have been some technical difficulty there with the internet or something like that. Let's just hold on for just a second to see if we can get him back. Hold on 1 second here, and we'll see where he is. Let me just type to him and see what's going on here. Sorry about that, guys. I'm sorry. Really, really sorry. See if we can get him back. Hopefully he'll be able to get right back on. But in the meantime, what some really, really great content there, isn't it? And again, just a couple of weeks ago, with the book launch that I actually was there for the weekend to see, and for my own eyes to see this content go live, and then actually go right to #1 on the Amazon in the Amazon store. It was just, I've never seen anything like it so quickly. But I have to say, good content. If you have any questions, I'll try to help answer some of these right now. Even though I am not an author, there may be some questions that are more related to the marketing side of things. Here's a question, there's a question here about marketing when it comes to Facebook events. How effective is a Facebook event when it comes to promoting a book? And I can answer this because I've done this many times for many of our students. Absolutely, a Facebook event can really help you when you go to launch your book, because you can literally get out to all of your friends, and then some of your friends can promote your book for you as well, and get it out there even further using a Facebook event. So there's no question that a Facebook event will absolutely help you with launching your book and your platform. Here's another question here, Jim. I know you work a lot on Facebook. So what is the strategy that you would use to actually get the word out about a book? Let's go through a number of different things. First of all, we use Facebook every day for all kinds of different marketing and getting traffic. But you've got to have a Facebook page for your book. And let me just share this with you. Looks like we're getting him back on here in just a second. Here, Doug's coming. Good. Here's what you've got to do. You've got to have a Facebook page, not only for the name of your book, but also for what your book is about. So there might be more than one Facebook page. So keep that in mind. What does the problem that your book solves? Things like that. So they could be multiple different Facebook pages for that. The second thing is that you could absolutely do a Facebook ad to a highly, highly targeted audience. I'll give you an example. If you have a book that's related to business and success, with a Facebook ad, you can absolutely go after even Anthony Robbins fans, 1.4, 1.5 million fans, and be able to actually go after those fans and put an ad right in front of all those fans for your book. I see Doug is back. Doug, can you hear me? Hello, Doug? Are you there? Let's see if we can get you back in. I think he's just trying to get in now. Anyway, so Facebook page, Facebook ad. The next thing you want to do while we're waiting for Doug to get back in is you absolutely want to do a Google Plus page as well, and then link that to your website, because you've got to have a website to sell your book as well. So you link those two together, and now you can actually rank on page 1 of Google with your book when people are searching for the problem that it solves. Let's see if we can get Doug back in here now. I'm hoping that we can get him going. Doug, are you there? Hello, Doug. Again, sorry about that, guys. There must have been some sort of a technical glitch here. And let's just see. Doug, okay to go? Yes, it is. Okay to go. Okay to go. Don't see your screen. See your screen or hear you. Okay, so let's see what's going on here. Why we can't get Doug back. He's here, I see him. But let's see here. How do we get you back in, Doug? Presenting. Sorry, guys, for this technical difficulties, but we'll see what we can do here to get this back. Hmm. He's trying to get in now. Good. Okay, so there's Google Plus. You want to have a Google Plus page with your website, Facebook page, Facebook ad. The next thing you want to do is absolutely get your LinkedIn profile up to speed so it's keyworded properly. You have the right descriptions and your summary. You have testimonials. You have all that inside your LinkedIn profile because, again, this will really, really help you to become the authority in your niche. So you absolutely want to have that as well. So you've got LinkedIn, Google Plus, and Facebook. Doug, it looks like he's going off, and then he'll come back in. So then the next thing is YouTube. YouTube is unbelievably amazing. YouTube is unbelievably amazing because what you can do is you can create videos. There he is. He's coming back. You can create videos. There you are, Doug. Are you there? Hello, Doug.
Here we go. Jim, I'm here.
Okay, great. Let's get it back. I just said present to everyone. I've been just going through a few strategies with using social media to promote your book or to promote books. So in the meantime, so it looks like everybody's still on. They're sticking by. I do see your video of you right now.
Okay. Do you see the slides right now?
Not yet.
Okay. Google. I thank you guys for staying on. How about now? Now it's moving?
I see your video of your face.
Okay. Okay, let me go and do the screen share thing real quick here.
Great.
And we should be able to do the entire screen. And that's taking me into the wonderful world of Georgia McCabe. How's that? Now?
Not yet. Still, I see your computer with your video with you wearing your glasses. So there we go. Now it's coming.
Oh, now.
Okay, I can see
Georgia.
I can see. Let's see here. 500 copies pre-ordered by Fuji. That screen right there, but it's not all the way up live. It's just a partial.
Like this, what happens? It goes black, right?
There we go. Now I see every. There we go. Perfect. We're in.
Okay.
Can we go back a slide, or maybe two?
Okay. Yeah, it's this one. How's that? Can you see me?
Yep. There we go. Right there.
Right. That's where we left off, right? From
yep, perfect. Perfect.
You want to hear? You want to hear her again?
I don't think we quite heard the whole thing when we lost you.
Okay. Well, she was just saying how great it was to get a book done.
Okay, great. Awesome.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and just go on to the next one because there's a couple more here anyway.
Okay.
Georgia was contacted by Fujifilm in November to social media gal, and they said, hey, and bring your book to CES in Las Vegas. And she said, oh, not a problem. And after she hung up with them, she called me up at a panic saying, Doug, I just got to advance on a speaking gig and a book at CES, the largest consumer electronics show on the planet, in January. This was at the end of November. We had basically 45 days to create, craft, print, produce, the whole thing. Fortunately, Fuji gave her an advance on it, but it was really cool to have an advance in your book from a major corporation. Here's a guy that was featured on NBC's Biggest Loser.
Hi, my name is Tony Webker. I'm a personal trainer. The privilege of working with Julio.
Oh, that's great, Doug. That was really smart. Here I am.
We just lost you. There you are.
Okay. I apologize. I control issues.
Hi, my name is Tony Webker. I'm a personal trainer. The privilege of working with Julio Gomez from The Biggest Loser amongst hundreds and hundreds of other clients that have been very successful. Doug Crow has helped me publish my book, Get It Right, Make It Tight, a book that's concentrated on helping other trainers build successful, sustainable training programs. This opportunity has allowed open many windows for me, including interviews on radio, television, newspapers, has helped expand my business tremendously. This all wouldn't have been possible without my book and Doug Crow. I couldn't thank him enough. I wrote the book on it.
And then my buddy Jeff West, he was a sales manager at Aflac. And the moment he retired, the very first month, he got 3 speaking gigs. And he actually hired some assistants right away. He just crushing it with getting a couple speaking gigs every single month. He gets 2 or 3, and has sold thousands of his books. So he's very, very happy about his results. And then this gal here who was trying to get a book done for about 8 years.
Hi, my name is Dawn Fertiga of DawnFertiga.com, and I can't thank Doug enough. My book project has been a labor of love for 8 years, and coming to Doug and taking the course is the first time someone said, we are going to get it done, we got it done, and we're going to make it happen, and we're going to share it with the world. So thank you, Doug.
You're welcome, Dawn. The bottom line, guys, is that publishing is definitely a team sport, and everyone needs a wingman. Regardless of who you engage, you've got to have a team to help you out. And your team can come with different flavors, right? There's the option of having someone doing it all for you, which is high level, where you've got journalists and writers, everyone doing the work for you. You are just the talent. You just get interviewed by a journalist. And then there's the other flavor, which is having someone do it with you. Either one works, depending on your timeline and resources. So the question a lot of people are asking themselves after listening to all this is, geez, can I do this? You do know more now than you did an hour ago, that's for sure. I know you can do it because I've worked with some extremely talented and untalented clients, quite frankly, to get their books done. And we make them all compelling. We make them work. So if you learn something in the past hour, imagine where you'll be with just a little bit more time. What about 2 hours of private time, one-on-one with just my team and myself? What would that feel like? What would that look like? What I've just shown you is the exact system that I've personally used to build my brand, and it's the exact methodology used by 7- and 8-figure experts in nearly every field out there. Okay? I know you can do it too. There's no question in my mind. The comprehensive author strategy program we're offering is really a deep dive into your expertise. I'm going to pull things out of you didn't even know existed. The entire thing we're doing with you is custom designed just for you. It's one-on-one. We're going to create your book and explode your fan base. So here's how it looks. Before our meeting, all right, we're going to have a meeting, right? It'll be a virtual meeting. But before we do that, I'm going to give you a pretty lengthy survey that you're going to complete to make our time together really incredibly productive, because I'm going to read up on you. I'm going to spend some time getting to know you, your brand, your company, your history, everything about you. So that we're going to speak from a position of like, I've known you for years. It's really, really productive to do some pre-work on this. Then what we're going to do is we're going to get on the phone and review really where you are and where you want to be, and of course by when. And we're going to co-create a master book creation plan just for you. And we're going to do this regardless of our involvement later on. Whether you engage our services or not, that's immaterial. The time we're going to spend together is going to be very, very productive, and you're going to come out of it with a lot of clarity, brand, a compelling book plan, so you've got a game plan. Was all co-created between myself and you, okay? And here's what it's going to do for you. We're going to ramp you up very, very quickly. We're going to give you all the secrets we have of best-selling authors so you can leverage your book into a bankable asset, something that will pay you over and over again. And then we're going to give you a comprehensive blueprint, custom designed just for you, that will help pre-sell your book before it's even written, just like I've described tonight. And the benefits include our overwhelm-free plan, right? This will create inbound leads for you, like I created with my company, and create high-ticket products so you can make some money quickly. You don't have to wait years for this stuff to kick in. And you'll do this by using our simple but very effective user-generated content strategy that nobody else out there is teaching right now. And it's very easy to get started with us. Naturally, you're going to want to implement everything, right? So you can see these results in your business. And I believe that's why you really want to take a serious look at investing in our comprehensive author strategy session and do it right now. It's normally about $2,000, right? We charge $19.97 for it, and because I could help you guys out, we're making it only $497. And all you need to do to get started is go to effortlessauthor.net/strategy, click on the link there, and give you a very clear idea of how this is going to work and how we're going to get started. And here are the bonuses I want to share with you. In addition to the strategy session that we're going to do together, you and I, for 2 hours, I'm also going to give you my bestseller backstage pass. It's a $500 package that's an actual specific bestseller blueprint. And you can get so many more interviews with this thing. You'll get national media attention, dozens of book reviews, and help you establish that authority and recognition that you desire. I'm also going to do one more thing for you. I'm going to give you a website. A lot of my authors want a website for their book when it's out there, and I encourage them to build a website before the book is out there, as you probably figured out. So what we're going to do for you, when we do our analysis, when you do your survey, before we even get on the phone, right? We're going to do a survey with you, find out about you. I'm going to have my team build a book website for you before our phone call. So we get on that phone call, I'm going to give you, obviously, the bonuses. You're going to have the bestseller Backstage Pass. We're going to have our strategy session all lined up. I'm going to co-create a blueprint for you, and I'm going to show you your website here. Now, the book cover, of course, may change as you create your content with your team, but you'll have the framework all set so that you can start engaging your readers early on and often. Okay? And I'm going to do one more thing. I've got a program that I'm marketing right now, and it's called Become the Authority. It sells for $1,000. If you want to go and buy it, you certainly may. Go to becometheauthority.com and get it. But I'd like to give it to you as a gift for booking your strategy session with us. It's a very comprehensive blueprint. Includes a book, 3 video tutorials, and I think 3 more checklists that takes a deep dive into what we discussed tonight on this webinar. It's how to establish authority, and really it revolves around building your list and building a waiting list of clients with their credit cards ready to get. When I have a real estate company, we did this very effectively in just a matter of months, and it was largely due to the authority we established, right? So this whole system of having outbound marketing being transformed into inbound marketing is where you want to be. You don't want to chase clients. You don't want to be the guy at the trade show booth standing there waiting for someone to walk by. You want to be the guy where people are calling you, booking appointments, and you have to, I'm sorry, I got a 10-day waiting list. That's what Become the Authority is all about. It's an incredible bonus, and I'm very, very honored to give that to anybody who books their strategy session with me tonight. So here's why you should do it right now, guys. Clearly. Schedule this today. I'm going to give you 3 bonuses worth over $2,000, all right? The bonuses are only available until our meeting slots are filled. Now, think about this. This is I'm booking time here. I'm spending a good amount of time on research ahead of time, and then there's only 2 sleeps. Doug travels. Doug does other jobs. There's very limited number of slots for these comprehensive author strategy sessions. So if you want to become a recognized authority, if you want to create a loyal following and develop a highly compelling book, creating a flood of inbound leads for yourself, and start making some serious money all in about 90 days, this is specifically for you. And so here's what to do next. Go to effortlessauthor.net/strategy, choose your consultation time, and fill out our very, very comprehensive survey. It might take you a good 15 to 30 minutes to fill the survey out. So set time to do that. And then we're going to build you your book website, and we're going to take a big, but baby step together. It's a big baby step because it's going to get a lot of the pre-work done for you that most people take literally years to figure out. We're going to do it in a matter of hours. And we're going to do it because you're going to have me at your side, making sure you don't fall into quicksand and get hung up on places, right? I'm going to make sure you don't make the same mistakes I did. You might make some new ones, but I'm going to help steer you away from 99% of the ones that most authors make. We'll do this all in just a few hours together. Now, I mentioned earlier about the guarantees, right? You got to have a ridiculous guarantee. Check this one out. If by the end of our time together you feel it's not for you, and you just let me know, I can give you a full refund. Okay, think about that. No questions asked. You still keep everything, including the bonuses. You've got my time, custom blueprint, bestseller Backstage Pass, a website, and my $9.97 Become the Authority program. You keep it all. If you didn't feel the 2 hours we spent together was worth it, then just say, hey man, didn't get anything out of it. I give you money back. Right? No wiggle clauses, no shenanigans. Your word is gold to me. Okay, now it is a limited thing because of the way we're positioned. I'm not marketing a digital product here. Well, hey, get these 5 DVDs. You can have 1,000 of them. I have only so many time slots, and these are very, very limited. So the earlier you book it, the earlier you'll get in, the earlier you're going to get your book started. If you wait, you may be waiting quite a while. As of right now, as of this time right now, over half of our slots for the next 2 weeks are already booked up. I can't even, if they all fill up tonight, you have to wait at least a month to get on our docket. So if you watch this entire presentation and you want a book that sells your brand, and you know this is an excellent value, take advantage of this incredible discount that we're offering over $497. Take advantage of those amazing bonuses and the can't lose guarantee right now. Go to effortlessauthor.net/strategy, and I'll be waiting for you and waiting to help you with your book. And at this point, I want to thank you again. I really appreciate you sticking around, especially with our little technical glitch there. Darn internet. But I'm also available now if anybody wants to ask a question. You go ahead and just do them on audio, Jim.
Yep, Doug, I see the questions here. Here's one of them. I don't have an editor. Do you do that too?
We actually have a team of people I've vetted for the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years that help us with this. So I have a team of editors and designers, proofers, journalists, copy editors, and depending on the level of engagement with us, those are all available to my clients and friends.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, here's another one. A friend of mine paid almost $100,000 to have their book published, and actually lost money because he didn't have things organized in such a way that there were other products and services. Will you help with creating these other products and services in order to make sure that if the book doesn't make the money, the book is leading to money?
I'm not even going to just help. I'm going to insist that we do it. And here's what I mean by that. I've had a few people come to me saying, "Oh, I just want to work on the book. I don't have any other products." And I tell them, I said, "Well, you can still do it, but you're not going to make money. You're going to lose money. You're going to spend at least 10, 20, 30 grand creating a book, a really good one. And if you think you're going to make that back by selling the book, then you're not an athlete, a politician, or a celebrity. Then it's not going to work. You have to design these extra products early and often. So yes, I will definitely help you with that. I will insist that we create some, and they're going to be good products. Like when you people who are going to schedule with us, when they see the Become the Authority 997 product I'm giving you guys tonight, you'll see what I'm talking about. It's a good product.
Excellent, excellent. Here's another question. If it's a compilation book, is it okay to put pics on the back cover?
Yes, compilation books are a great way to start. And depending on how many people you have, it's all ego-based because it's not in the front cover. The back cover, you want to list the people that are on the compilation. It's good. They're going to help you launch the book. I don't do those very often. I mainly focus on individual people and brands, but there's no harm in doing compilation books. There are some pitfalls. If we get on a strategy call, I will share those with you.
Excellent, excellent. Here's another one. I'm really concerned that someone would take my idea. Do you keep these things private?
Yes. My relationship with my clients is attorney-client privilege level. It's there's nothing that gets printed that you don't want printed. I had, I'm not going to say which one, but on one of the testimonials you saw tonight, there was some very serious trauma in this person's life, and she didn't want to put it in the book. And I said, you don't have to put it in the book, but you would do well to communicate with the journalist because that will help craft your emotions in the book and the story. And you can always edit things out, but it's hard to put emotion in later if you don't have it from the onset. So proprietary stuff, yes, it's all protected, trademark. You're in the Library of Congress, you've got an ISBN number, and you're very well protected with digital content.
Great. I have all this in my head. How do I get it to paper?
It's a fun thing. The first thing I'll tell you is never edit as you write. 90% of authors edit as they write. That's why it never gets done. In your head, because your brain doesn't go in a line, you really have to just start data dumping it out and maybe putting it in folders based on timeline or category or something. But just when the thought comes to you, start recording it. You can put digital recorders. One bite at a time is all it is. But organizing it effectively, that's where you need to use the system I've described tonight for sure.
Excellent. Okay, Doug, here's another one. If I decide to work with you, do you create an exclusive agreement, or am I free to sell anywhere I want?
Oh, I want you to sell everywhere. The only thing exclusive with me is that once we start working together, I'm friends with all my clients. I'm personally involved with their production of their book. So I want to make sure that we work on things together. but there's nothing really exclusive in the marketing-wise. Is that what they meant? Exclusive marketing-wise?
Like can only sell your book in one place.
Oh gosh, no, that would be a bad idea. Don't do that. I
But
would never suggest that.
Isn't that what publishers do? They like keep some of them.
Oh, I'm sorry. Good question. Let me answer that fully. I am an extremely unconventional person. If you haven't figured that out, when I publish a book for my authors, they get 100% of all the rights and all the movie rights and all the rights to the products. I don't keep any of that, ever. I rarely do a JV deal, and the few times I have, my authors always get the lion's share of that. Most publishers own the property, and they pay the author royalties, and they give them 5 or 10%. It's awful deals from traditional publishers. They have bigger distribution. That's why people do it. But most of my clients, I encourage them to self-publish first, where you own the property. You get all the royalties. I don't want any of that unless you want me to participate in that long term. We can talk about that, but I rarely do that.
Got it. Okay, so it's completely the opposite of what most publishers do, and the author is open to sell their book, ebook, movie, whatever it is, without you being handcuffed to them.
Absolutely, I would encourage that, and I will guide them through that so they can know the good guys and bad guys out there, because they're both. And I don't know them all, but I know a few of them, and I will privately tell you where you should look and where you might want to not look. And when you do get, if you are fortunate enough to get a publishing deal with a publishing house, congratulations, get an attorney, because those agreements, I've seen many of them, they are the most one-sided documents on the planet. I have stories to tell you that would make your blood crawl.
I can imagine. I can imagine. Okay, so another one, you've talked about Amazon, but what about the Apple iTunes or Apple Store?
Amazon is it's the 800-pound gorilla. They're responsible for over 90. So I'm going to put 90% of my marketing efforts there. If I want to put 10% over on the iBook, that's fine. But to spend a lot of energy on a small distribution channel is not a good idea.
Got it. Okay. And here's a comment here from someone. My web guy wants $2,000 for my sales page for my book, and you actually create one for free by joining the program?
Not by joining the program, just by scheduling your strategy session. The program is much more robust, but yeah,
Wow.
The answer is yes.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay. And then here's another one here. Are there any other hidden fees?
No.
That's a pretty simple answer. Okay.
Yeah, let me expand on what what we're talking about now is the 497 thing, right? The whole strategy session, the blueprints, all that stuff.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. Once after the fact, a lot of people say that was a really helpful, Doug. I really enjoyed the strategy session. Thank you for creating the blueprint. I appreciate the bonuses. Now, can you help me actually pull the book off? Oh yeah, we can do that. We have different levels to help people out depending on their resources to pull that off for them. So in terms of hidden, nothing's hidden, but if you want to get the next step, then we have another conversation.
Great. Okay. And so the strategy session is only to determine the next steps after the strategy session, right? So, and there are many different directions to go because people they're in different levels with their book writing. Maybe some of them already have their book almost finished, right?
Right. That's the last 5 minutes. I'm going to spend a whole hour and 55 minutes working with you, co-creating your product line, your brand, your positioning, your minutes. You may want. I'm not on a clock on. Maybe it's 10 minutes, whatever. But at the end, you're going to ask me, or maybe you won't. But you say, hey, can you help me? If you don't, then you're set. You're all good. You're good to go.
Great. Great. Okay. So here's a question: can I change the book after it's for sale?
Yes. A lot of people actually do that on purpose. You can always update your files with a click of a button. With digital online publishing, it's so great. Now, the books are already printed and out there, of course. You can't do much about that, but you can update a new cover, a new file, a new updates to your book. Which, by the way, can I give away a quick bonus thing here?
Yeah, yeah.
One of my friends does a free Kindle giveaway, and he does his book, and he'll really do a campaign just to give away his Kindle book for free. And the last time he did it, he purposely withheld 30% of the content of his book. And he got over 2,000 free downloads of his book. which is great. You know, he got his book out there, bestseller, blah, blah, blah. Now, then what he did is he said, hey, I have an update for that book. So he added a 30% new pieces of content, great stuff into his book. He uploaded it to Amazon, and then Amazon did a one-time mailing for him saying, hey, you bought this book. There's a new update. Do you want to get it? And the update was at $4.95. And he sold another 1,000 copies of the book. And he got $3, $3,000. Boom. But the mailing came from Amazon. You see the beauty of that?
They're marketing for you.
Yeah.
With no effort.
They want to sell your book. They make with intent, with specific reasons. So the reason is, hey, there's an update.
Wow, that's crazy. That's really good. So they market for you, which is awesome because you've already become a bestseller, and then you make a change to your book or update it, and then they're going to send the mail out. That's incredible. Here's a statement here. No one has ever offered to help me write my book. They all say, write my book and then we'll publish it. This is really, really amazing, and I can't wait to start working for you, which is awesome. Thank you very much, Sarah. Let's see here if there's anything else here. I'm not very creative. You actually will help me with my cover?
Let me double down on that one. I have a client, and I'll probably put him on a webinar sometime. He's a great guy. He came to me with his story, and his story was the most boring piece of garbage I've ever read in my life. And I picked up the phone and I said, hey, man, your book has such great potential, right? So the writer I pulled in to help him out is a fiction writer. We made this story so compelling. He got endorsements from Bob Burg. He got endorsements from John Maxwell. All love his book. So, yeah, it had to have, and I have a full-time design team that does just gorgeous covers. And the great thing about it, when you engage us to do those, they're all unlimited revisions. We're not done until we've tested the cover. You love it, and your audience loves it.
Awesome. That's great. Okay, so here's another statement. I was at a seminar recently, and the publisher wanted $35,000 to publish my book after I had written it. I still have to do all the work. It sounds to me like what you have an offer where actually you will write the book for them, or you'll write the book with them, which is much easier and much more reasonable. Is what they say.
It's about 7% reasonable. It's a lot less than that to do it with me, to do it for me. It's not that much. It's a lot. It's probably 2/3 of that. But and we have a team too. It's like, people need help creating compelling content. I've got top-level journalists and copywriters that do this for a living, and they help make your stuff really sing. And it's got to be a page turner. That means every single page, people want to have to turn that thing to keep reading your story. Most books aren't even opened. I think the statistics are half the books that are purchased aren't even opened, and half those that are opened are never finished. So we work very hard to make sure that your brand and your message is going to be something that people want to share, make it viral.
Excellent, excellent. Guys, go to effortlessauthor.net/strategy. I actually typed it in and created a button for you so you can go click on it. I know there are just a couple spots left because I'm seeing that the sales come through because Doug doesn't have a lot of time, but he wants to really focus and help those who do take advantage of this today. Effortlessauthor.net/strategy. If there are any other questions, go ahead and pop those in right now because it looks like I'm out of the questions. Doug, do you have anything else to add?
No, I just love you, Jim, and I would encourage people. They got the book done. They're thinking about it in the middle. Book a strategy session. You've got absolutely nothing to lose by filling out this form and hanging out with me for a couple hours. We're gonna have a great time. You're gonna feel much better about your process, your brand, and you'll thank me later.
Yep. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you very much, Doug. Thank you so much for giving the last hour and a half to us. Really, really appreciate it. And every time I see you, I learn even more and more and more. Thank you so much, guys on the call. Thank you very much. Just a couple spots left. Just go to effortlessauthor.net/strategy. Take advantage of this now. This is the time. This is one of those moments where you've got to go for, okay, I have a money-back guarantee that is ironclad. If I don't like what I hear, I don't care. I didn't learn anything. It wasn't the experience for me. You get all your money back. You've got nothing to lose for just $497. Take advantage of that now. Doug, thank you so much. I think we should probably end the call now just because I respect everyone's time. And we'll see you next time, okay?
You got it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.